Hi there, Derpy Moose 99 here with episode 1 of Factorio Angels and Bob's mods. Basically in this mod what we're going to do is start crushing some ore and get our iron and copper set up, as well as some coal production and maybe even dabble in a little bit of electrical power. So this is going to be sort of the burner phase of the operation. Might find it a tad repetitive once we get going here. It'll be slow to gain momentum, but once we get this stage done, we're going to have enough resources to start building the way we want. So anyways, let's get started here. Oh, there's a puffer nest. Might as well pick that off. Alright, let's get some iron going now. First we want to set up, I think, the iron. But even before that, let's get my toolbar set up here. Everybody does this different, but I like doing it this way, at least in the beginning, so you can sort of see where you are with resources at a glance. So let's go. Crush stone, crush sapphirite, crush steratite, some wood. Alright, some burner inserters. And we're with power there. So over here we're going to be using burner mining drills, burner crushers, probably going to want some miners, some furnaces, and the lowly wooden chest. Okay, so we're set up there. Now what I'm going to do here is build a line across here of burner miners and crushers. And we're going to do some furnaces as well too. And this is just basically the start to get us going. Okay, and we're going to find a huge rock and get a little bit of coal. Okay, so my first priority is going to be to get a second burner miner for the iron. And then get some burners built for coal, because mining rocks for coal, it gets a little bit old. Alright. Okay, we got enough coal there to start this off. One of these will take 9 iron, so what we want is enough crash sap right here fed into this furnace to give us 9 iron. Maybe we'll look for, do a little harvesting here. And one thing I wanted to do is look at our sounds here as well. Let's see, alerts, GUI effects. Let's try that. Okay, I am using the toggle running speed mod, so F6. So 0 is the slowest, which goes this slow. F1 chevron is this, and then 2 chevrons is that. I'm going to check it on the recording later and see how blurry that is, but for the most part I'll try and stay on the middle one, which is the 1 chevron. I think the slow speed would kill me if I actually tried to build a large base on the slow speed, so we'll go with the middle one. And maybe for scouting and running away from biters, we'll use the fast one. Alright. Okay, we've got 8 iron, we need 1 more. And there we go. Okay, so we'll let that run a bit. And maybe we'll look for some more rocks while that's running. What I want to do is build a bunch of back-to-back burner miners here. That'll get us some cheesy yet efficient coal production for this phase of the game. Okay, where are you, huge rocks? Okay, another puffer nest. We can't use these puffer nests right now, but pick them up when you see them because they're useful later. Okay. Maybe let's just go for a high speed run and see how this Okay. There's a huge rock. So I'll just use a little high speed, just the beginning here. We'll do some scouting / looking for. Oh, here's a desert tree. This is part of Angel's mods. You'll use the actual tree later, but the bonus in the early game is you actually get 100 wood when you harvest one of those, which is a lot better than chopping down 25 trees. There's another one here. There's 2 jobs of graphics, I think. So again, pick those up when you can. You can't use them right now, but the 100 bonus wood, you see we're already at 207 wood there, without spending half an hour chopping down trees. Okay, I got 78 coal. Okay. Another tree. Okay, we overshot on our scouting here, so let's just quickly zip through this. I'll maybe do some major scouting off camera so we can talk about how we're going to set up our base later, but that'll probably be in another episode. Alright, that should be enough coal to get us started here. Let's put half in for now. Let's get another bunch of furnaces going here. You'll need furnaces for themselves, but also the recipe for these burner miners includes furnaces, so don't be afraid to use all your early stone on that. Alright, now let's, I think let's let this run. Oh, you know what, I got 105 coal. Let's maybe double this. Maybe we won't be able to power the furnaces, but we can power this part. And we need 6 for a burner crusher. Oh, and some stone. Okay. Okay, now we'll let this crank out iron. And we'll use the iron to make a bunch of burner mining drills. So what we're going to do over here, sorry, I should probably toggle that to middle speed, is we're going to make a row here of these mining drills. Now, like I said, this is a bit cheesy, but it works. And it's way better than breaking rocks to get coal. So we'll go back to back here. We need 1 chunk of coal to start the process. And basically all this does is they mine into each other, but they produce more than they actually use for fuel. So you can just come through later and pick up the excess. And like I said, we'll get a line of 20 or so of them across here, and then once that gets going, and it'll take a little while to sort of get up to speed, but once we get enough of them, it'll be pretty easy to pick up 2,000 coal or so to power our very, very early game burner crushing setup here. Obviously, you don't want to do this phase for very long because it's all by hand and tedious. And that is not the name of the game with Factorio, but at least for me anyways, it's a good way to start. So we'll get a bunch of this crushing going, get us a bit of a setup with coal, and that'll give us a base of iron, copper, and coal. And then we can move on to sort of the next phase of the game here. So another 4 of those. Let that run while we go back. Okay, now we got 6 there. Like I say, I want to get this like right across this bottom part here. So we'll be running back and forth for a minute here. Alright, let's make some boxes just so we have those ready. And I will keep that stone for now. One more, we can make 4. Let's do that. Yep, there's another 4. Main rule with Factorio is if you think you have enough, you probably don't. So I want to make sure we have lots of coal here. Okay, another 3, and let's maybe add to this a little bit. Always one plate short. Okay, I'm just gonna... I need more coal for the first burner. Okay, 111. Okay, let's do another setup. So if you've not played Bobs and Angels before, you can't mine iron or copper directly. What you have is this intermediate, or I shouldn't really say intermediate. You have ore that actually contains multiple ores, so super ores, I guess you'd call it. So sapphirite, for example, here contains iron, copper, silicon, nickel, titanium, and zinc. Now, as you go down, there's different processes to extract the various ores, and you can't get all of them early. So the very, very first and most simplest extraction process here is just what we're doing here is crushing up the sapphirite and feeding it into a furnace. Not very efficient, and we don't get don't get any of the other ores. So you don't want to continue this very long, but it's a good and simple way to get started. And the advantage here is you don't need electricity, which is good because you don't have any yet. Okay, 36, that'll... Okay. Probably want to get a few more furnaces going there down too. But let's go on and continue adding to our coal production here. Now these, I'm putting them all in a big circle. You could just put them in back-to-back pairs or front-to-front pairs, whatever you want to call that, but I don't know. I like to do them in a big circle. Yeah, let's put maybe 4 more furnaces here. And let's put 50 each. Or so. Okay, and let's add another 4 to the coal. I think the coal is getting close to where I want it. Yeah, didn't place any of those correctly. Okay, how many is that? That is 20. So let's see if we can fit 4 more in. Unfortunately, these burner drills aren't reusable, but there's essentially unlimited or practically unlimited resources in Factorio. You just have to go out a little farther and mine another patch, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. So what did I say? We want 4 more, and let's we'll go 6 of those for now. So what I want to do is, okay, so 4 will finalize our initial coal production here, and then we'll expand out the iron and use the stereotype patch down here for copper. Yeah, okay, that's 24, isn't it? Yeah. That's enough to sort of keep us in operation here before we get the electric mining drills. Alright, well, we have the burners. I'm saying burners, I mean burner crushers. Okay, how many does that get us? 9, okay. So we need 5 times 2, 10. There's 7. Now we won't have the coal to power all this, but we can start some of it. If you can a little bit later here, if you want to set this up with inserters and stuff, you sort of can, but I would just hand feed this for now, and then as soon as you can, you want to get into electric mining drills and a little bit more automated process. But this, like I said, this will bootstrap you and get you going. Okay, let's just run down and grab some coal. Alright, 586, that was better. So you can see with 24 of them, that starts working fairly quickly. Alright, now let's say we have 9 here. I wonder. Yeah, let's do. Yeah, let's try 8 for the copper and the stereotype. So we need 3 more of those. Yeah, again, we won't have the coal quite yet, but I guess I could be a little stingier on how much I'm putting in here. I was talking about ores a little bit earlier, so you can see the rubite here. Its primary, or first stage of crushing, I guess, would give you lead, but it also has nickel, aluminum, gold, titanium, and tungsten. And this is bobmonium here, which has got tin as its primary or first stage crushed ore, and then it's silicon, cobalt, zinc, aluminum, and uranium. But for now, we're going to start with sapphirite for iron and stereotype here for copper. Oops. Sorry, tactical error. These would need to be spaced out by 1. Okay, and crushed stereotype. So this is just the same type of process as we had before, or up there for sapphirite and iron. And how much have we accumulated here? Okay, so that's starting to work. You can see in that short period of time we got 673 out of that, so let's maybe start putting 50 in each of these. These guys can have 65. Okay, it'll start us on the copper road here. Yeah, first copper. Okay. I need to accumulate a little bit more coal. Yep. Once these 24 miners get working on the coal, we should get thousands shortly, but in the short term here, it's a bit of a struggle to keep sort of everything with enough to run. I must have been thinking we could get one more burner in, but I don't think... These obviously don't have to be in a straight line, but it's just way easier to fill them and stuff. What does that look like? 491. That'll run for a while. Let's make this an even 10. We've got the burner, so... Well, that won't be very much... That won't be very much coal, but at least it gets us to 10. I'm happier with that. See, this is an example here of in Factorio, you always need more than you think. I thought 24 miners mining coal would be tons, but I want like 72 of them or something. And it's not very much copper. That'll take a minute to get going. Alright, while we're sitting here with not much copper, let's at least build some iron things, get us going. We're gonna need some burners and some belts. Okay. And maybe more belts. Let's just have a quick look at the map. Okay, so we have some coal. Good patch of coal up there, actually. Okay, so we're gonna do steam power. Steam requires water and coal. This patch of 1 million coal here in our starting area, we'll use that for early smelting. But let's build a fairly substantial power installation up here, and we'll use the 17 million coal. It won't last forever, but it'll last a goodly long time. And what I intend to do is probably, say, 8 rows of 20 boilers, each boiler with 2 engines, so that should get us 320 engines up over here somewhere. So once we get enough coal for the copper and the iron here, let's work on getting at least the start of our power plant, which means miners here, a belt over this way, the first power installation, and then power poles back and down. And that'd probably be a good first episode, so we get the the burner phase kind of started here, and some power, and then in episode 2 we can work on science and start automating more mining, so we don't have to do all this silly hand feeding stuff here. Alright, just a little more copper there. Okay, 210 belts. We're probably gonna want a little bit more than that. Now I really should look into the even distribution mod or whatever it's called to distribute the stuff evenly. I'm just doing sort of right click, control right click to do halves, but which, it's probably 90 there, 126 there, so it's not really even. I mean, it's working, but I think that mod might be worth investigating. Okay, let's go 10 mining drills. And we have enough copper for power, so let's go, I don't know, 50 or so poles. And 2 boilers and 4 engines. An offshore pump. I gotta make some more pipes because, of course, building the boilers and the engines used up my pipes, so I always forget to do that in the right order. And a few more belts. So that should get us in the realm for power. And probably what we can think of too is maybe some radar. I guess we don't have enough copper. And I don't even have a pistol. Now we've got the starting area set on 600, so I don't expect to see a biter for a while, but probably running around without even a pistol is probably foolish. So let's build a pistol, another radar, maybe 10 more ammo. Okay, and then I think while this is handcrafting, let's just do another high-speed run around in a big circle, screaming and shouting, just to expand our view of the map. Pick up any trees. That's a temperate tree. And there's a garden there. These gardens are you will use them a little bit later to generate seeds and alien science and stuff, but worth picking up as you explore. And we do also have a mod for increasing the handcrafting speed, which will be one of the first things we research, just so we're not waiting all day here for stuff to craft out. Okay, do this high-speed run and gun. Okay, I should find a place to box off some of these things too so they don't clutter up the inventory. Okay, another tree. One last puffer nest here. Okay, let's have a quick look at our map. So it's been a while since I remember looking at the preview, but I want to explore around here and figure out where we're going to build walls and stuff to keep the biters out when the time comes. But for now, the focus should be on building power. So let's make sure these things are all working. Okay, we want to make sure we take 400 coal up with us to get those boilers started. 278. Let's make a few more belts just in case. And then while we're making, we'll make a few of these for our first phase. Got 110 of those. We got... Yeah, and we'll just take that up with us. Alright, now let's find our coal up here. Okay, all I want to do is I'm just going to run the belt across, not all the way to the lake, but far enough over. This is all about having enough room, so I want enough room for our power installation to grow, and I also want enough room to smelt, so I'll take this over probably more than it looks like we should, but it's alright. Now, I'm not sure how far over we want to go. So we want our leading edge, probably want to back up a bit. So I think what we'll do is I'll just basically get the first one in here, and then a little bit later in the game I'll put some ghosts in and see if we got enough room for the insulation that I want. But I'm pretty sure that if we do a row here, we could do a couple rows below, maybe 4 or 5 rows above. That should be able to get us to the insulation we want. Okay, and what I'm going to do here, so the ratio is 2 engines to 1 boiler. And it doesn't look like I built enough. And for these basic logistic transport belts, they're only going to support, say, 10 boilers to start with. So once we have yellow belts, we'll double it up, but we'll do a 10 boiler, 20 engine, and sort of call that I don't know, what do you want to call it, a model or whatever, but, and I think I'll take this up one more. Okay, so while we're here, let's do the water. So I'll run this over towards the lake. And what are we saying? Where? And I think we'll take it to about here. This will be fairly long pipe runs, but later on we'll have the water wells that we can use, but this is all about leaving enough room for growth and not overly cramping the beginning. I just find if you cramp it too much in the beginning, even on your starter base, you get frustrated pretty quickly if you run out of room, so. Yep, need another power pole here. Okay, so the other thing we do here is leave that in. And then what we can do as far as these go is, with that one spacer pipe in there, you have enough. And there's the 10 by 20 sort of setup that we want. And then, like I say, once we have yellow belts, what we're going to want to do is just, do something like that. And then we can have 20 boilers and 40 engines set off one. Alright, let's plunk our coal in there. And then take this main power line, go for a run over this way. Okay, now, so I put 200 coal in each of those boilers. So the question is that enough power for this belt to carry coal over to the boilers before it runs out. So I think it is. If not, we'll just have to run up and hand stuff some more in. But for now, that should be enough. So 10 miners isn't really enough to keep a whole row of power going, but it'll certainly keep the 2 boilers going for now. Okay, and then the other thing is we're going to want to run this down to our starting area. Oh, maybe while I think of it too. Sorry, let's go high speed for a second. And let's put a radar there. And we probably, as soon as we have turrets, we want to put 1 turret around because they seem to go for the radars. But and then maybe what we'll do, and we'll have to build another radar at some point, like that one. Can't wait till we get the bots, or the nanobots going here. Or at least steel axe, so this hand chopping's quicker. Let's have a quick look. We can run the power right down there. So let's extend this out. Okay, so I'll just take it down to here for now. And I think I made one of these. Okay, so just out of curiosity, let's see how much coal we get out of this. We were doing other things for a few minutes, so... Well, we got 2,000 coal now. We had a bit before, but... Let's maybe get a few more of these going here. Alright, that's starting to get a little more reasonable for production. So once this all sort of gets going, we can, we'll snowball a little bit more in the next episode and get some automation going. Yeah, let's put some more of these guys in. Getting quite the collection of stone there. Oh, before we go, let's have a look at automated research. So we'll start the research next episode, but if you do a Shift T, this brings us to auto research. Now the cool thing about this is you can queue things up. There's an unlimited queue size. But if you sort of get to the end of the science and it's a bunch of technologies that you don't really need about or care about at that certain point and just want to let it run, once the queue runs out here, it'll just pick a random unresearched technology and research, so you're not always going back into the technology menu, and you can customize a little bit on what your priorities are. For starters here, we're just going to automation science pack or yellow in this mod set is the first one, so I'm going to unselect or deselect, or however you want to say that, all these other science types. And I'm going to click this button here that says ingredients filter. So it's just on the basic first science pack. So automation is what we're going to want to start with. So I'm going to put it at the top of the queue, or basic automation, then that. And then because there's different configurable inserters and bobs and angels, so I want near and long inserters. That'll help us with our initial automation setup. And then the other thing is going to be, what the heck are they called? We have burner crushers right now, and we want the crushers that work off of electricity, so we don't have to worry about feeding them. I think it's called mechanical refining. Alright, sometimes this search function doesn't work properly, and sometimes my brain that spells things doesn't work properly. Okay, Okay, there's mechanical. I don't think it's that one though. I think it's... Go. Mechanical refining, that's the one. Alright, so we got automation. Now the automation is so we can build the machine so we can automate science. Inserters, near and long inserters, that's just so we can configure our crushing setups. Mechanical refining so we can have electronic crushers. And that'll be a good start for us, except we probably want crafting speed upgrade and steel axe so we don't go totally crazy. So anyways, that's just an example of this automated research mod, which I think is just an awesome mod. So unlimited queue, and then like I said, when your queue runs out, it'll just keep going on research based on the criteria you set up. I just leave this part on default for the most part. So that's Shift T as opposed to T for the regular. Okay, so I think we'll call that episode 1. In the next episode, what we're going to do is get some science going, get some automation going. I really want to ramp up our iron and copper production. And as far as that strategy goes, I think I was looking at it earlier, this Givelite patch is fairly large. So out of Givelite, we can pull copper and iron as well as out of the sapphirite. So we'll keep this large sapphirite patch down here for steel production. We're going to want a lot of steel, and that's a big healthy patch for that. So probably what we'll do is we'll get some form of early science going, and then we'll start working on a larger setup for copper and iron so we can automate the science as well. Anyways, I've been Derpy Moose 99. This has been episode 1 of Angels and Bob's Mods of Factorio. Thank you very much.